Donald Trump's speech just rounded up. I was did my workout, so I'm all red-faced. Took a nice shower and listened to the Trump speech while I was in the shower, and I loved it. In fact, I usually will watch the speech when I'm just watch it and take notes. This time I just have mental notes and some other stuff. Did he do what he needed to do? Partially. The microphone was a little bit overmodulated. He was a little bit loud. It was a little bit forced. The message overall was good, except the very beginning. Towards the very beginning, he, instead of saying, we've done excellent, things are excellent, now he did demonstrably talk about, during Joe Biden, Americans lost, on average, $3,000 of their income to inflation. And that so far, in less than a year of the Trump administration, we have gained $1,000 against inflation. So we have gone from 3,000 negative last year to 1,000 positive this year, which is a gain, but it's still not enough. We're not feeling it enough, and that's a fact. I'll get into that in just a little bit. The charts that he showed on that were good. They were effective. They were simple, and that's exactly what it needs to be. I loved what he said about the illegals. This is very critical, and I think it could have even been spelled out even clearer or plainer, but it was done pretty well. When you add 10 to 20 million illegals into this country in 4 years, are they all living on the streets? No. This week I'm filling in Omaha, and one of the things I'm finding out there, it's about 800,000 people there in the metropolitan area, and one of the things I'm finding out there is that they're booming too in their southwest sector of Omaha, and they've got illegals and all sorts of stuff just like we do. They got a big problem with that too, but their housing is way up. Well, it doesn't matter what part of the country we're in. I'm in Dallas-Fort Worth with most of you. What matters is this. When you take 10 to 20 million people and move them into this country in 4 years, they have to live somewhere. Unless you want to tell me 10 to 20 million people are living on the streets right now, which is not happening. They're taking up housing. What has that done? It's driven up the cost of housing tremendously. Number two, with Bidenomics and Bidenflation, Trump was right to say affordability. That was a word that started under the Biden administration. That's exactly right. Under Biden, we got to record highs of inflation, which we hadn't seen in, I think, decades. 9% inflation. That son of a bleep destroyed this country, destroyed our finances, my finances and yours. He went into healthcare prices, how they've skyrocketed, housing prices, how they've skyrocketed, mortgage prices, how they've skyrocketed. On average, $15,000 is the average mortgage increase in the 4 years of Joe Biden. He freaking destroyed our finances. And now Trump is blamed, and it's his fault because here we are now after 1 year. So whether or not you want to blame Trump or not, look, it's all Biden's fault, but now it's Trump's fault because it's been a year. And so that's why people are PO'd. I'm going to go over those statistics in a minute. But overall, I like the speech. For the most part, I thought it was good and effective. He's giving one of the big notices he gave today, brand new, he broke news. It's $1,776 in honor of the founding of this country in 1776. Here we are, about to hit our our bicentennial or whatever 250th anniversary. Here we are, and this is just an amazing time. So 1776, every troop, every soldier is going to get that bonus. And that is a beautiful thing to say. And I know for a fact that people like you and me, average middle-class families or above, that $1,700 would make a big difference for us. It pays almost your mortgage, perhaps. I mean, not your mortgage, but it'll pay two-thirds of mine, probably at least. To troops who may be living on a base, but just struggling to get by because the pay is low, that's a big deal. So I'm really happy about that. I know they'll be happy about that, too. Also, the illegals with jobs. He hit this. This is very important. This is very good. The illegals, all of the jobs under Biden, it's incredible. Breitbart did a great job breaking this down in the Biden years, particularly in the last year of Joe Biden. Every single job, almost every job that was created during the 4 years of Joe Biden was either a government job by expansion of this government, which is disgusting, or by illegal immigrants who took the jobs of this country. Ever since Trump took over, the jobs are all not coming from illegals. They're coming from freaking American-born workers. God bless our country. God bless our workers. Second of all, for the first time ever, he talked about we have negative net migration, which is very good. The border is zero. He hit home wonderfully about how Joe Biden lied and said he needed Congress. He couldn't do anything. He was powerless. What a lie from the pits of hell. So that was that one. What else we got? Trump touted no tax on tips. I want to tell you this. If you're in a blue state, we have listeners and podcast followers from Chicago. I'm on all the time there. I'll be on 6 days over the next 2 weeks, starting Monday of next week. I'll be on Chicago and regularly fill in for Dan Proft there in the morning on AM 560. The Answer. States like Illinois you don't have to do no tax on tips. The state can choose to ignore that and not do no tax on tips. And Illinois is one of those states that's not doing that. That you're going to have thousands. I will speculate. You can have thousands and thousands of people in Illinois. I think New York might be doing it, and California might be doing it too. They're not going to do no tax on tips because they want that money. And it's disgusting because they're hurting their own workers. The people, the very backbone of who the Democrats say they support. It is now the Republican Party that they support. And so they're going to kill no tax on tips for those people in those states. That is vile to do that to folks like that. He said it. You can get up to $11,000 on that. Overtime too. I can't believe I could not believe any state would do that, to take that away from those folks, because they're gonna. You know why? It's because they know they're still gonna get these stupid folks that would vote Democrat to continue to vote Democrat and keep it a blue state anyways. But it's vile. Now, where Trump went wrong was, as I kind of mentioned, saying we're doing great, or all this stuff. You cannot do that. You have to say we've come a long way, but I know we have a long way to go. And I think his tone of voice, and the microphone was very loud coming across. And I think a more subdued tone with empathy and compassion by saying, and I know Trump is Trump, but by saying, I know things haven't got much better for you, but here's what we have done, and here's where we're going to make it better now for you. And because I'm going to tell you right now, we're going to get, right now as I sit, and I am not the tea leaves dude, I'm not this expert, but I'm going to tell you right now, we're screwed for the primaries right now. We are so screwed for the primaries. And if we lose the House or the Senate or both, we are so screwed because nothing will get done starting next November. Nothing. And they'll be impeaching him again, bogging down his presidency, which they know they're not going to get an impeachment, but they're going to do it to hurt him and to hurt his presidency, to make him ineffective. So this is all on him and his administration and the Republicans to fix this. It really is on Trump for the most part. He's the most powerful person that can do this in this country. He currently sits at 44% approval, down from a high of 51% almost. Fox News survey last month, this is from Jason L. Riley's column today in the Wall Street Journal. Fox News survey last month found that 76% of respondents were unhappy with economic conditions. 76% of Americans unhappy with economic conditions. That is up from 67%. He's gone up in July, 9-point increase in dissatisfaction in with economic conditions. Unhappy, very unhappy, or whatever. Unhappy. That's higher than Joe Biden had. Joe Biden had 70% who felt that the way of at the end of the Biden presidency about very unhappy with the economic solution. Trump is 6 points higher than Biden was a year ago. This is freaking sad and scary and wrong for us. As far as if we want Republicans to keep winning and the Trump presidency to continue, which I do. He blamed his predecessor, Jason Riley says, talks about food, cars, and energy. Oh, he did talk about energy tonight with energy prices. He's right. Here's the problem. Where I sit right now, I'm pissed off. I'm pissed off all the time. Not all the time, but I'm pissed off every year with my gas bill. It goes through the frickin' roof. Why, in God's name, when I'm not producing anything, why in God's name, when we are producing the most liquefied natural gas, and natural gas, I believe, in history and in the world, or close to it, why in God's name are my rates in Texas, why are my rates for gas so insane? I'm sure yours are too. That is a crime, and that is wrong. Number two, and you can't say Ukraine. That stopped happening 3 years ago as far as that affecting prices. Number two, electricity rates. In the state of Texas, at least, I know we're separate. We have our own electricity markets, and we're deregulated, and to a point where it's ridiculous because it's like trying to read Egyptian to decipher Egyptian hieroglyphics or something when it comes to figuring out how to get the best prices. But we are still screwed on electricity rates here. And I know he's trying, but what I feel the worst for are the people in the Northeast who are literally crippled, and they're on these grids that are super woke, leftist green energy crap, and they've shut down all sorts of pipelines and everything. It's just disgusting. But I have not felt anything with my energy prices. I've not felt anything with my gas prices. Same thing as energy, I guess, right? Gasoline prices, he said wisely and properly, are down to $2.50 a gallon. And in some places, $1.99. That's his Trump presidency, and that's wonderful. But we need more, and we need more of that. And that does affect everything. Energy affects everything. Gas affects everything. It affects making fertilizer for crops. Comes from fossil fuel. Comes from oil, from petroleum. The diesel trucks that drive cattle to the market, that transport our groceries all over this country. Everything that goes into grocery prices and things that run this country is all about gasoline prices. So that's good. And he highlighted that. But Jason Riley points this out, and here's a great example of where people are just so disgusted and angry. Before the pandemic, families earning $75,000 a year could afford to buy about half of listings. Families making $75,000 a year before the pandemic could buy half of all listings on the market, for housing. As of March, those households can only afford 21% of listings. They've gone from half to less than a quarter. It's been cut in less than half of what it used to be available for them. This is just, and that's Joe Biden, but Trump needs to fix it. He said, too, he's going to be picking shortly, announcing who his Fed pick is when he takes over for Jerome Powell, who's done a horrible job. Economist, he was an Obama economist, Mohammed Al-Arian, a famed economist and former Obama economist, is totally on board with Trump with the tariffs, and he is totally on board with Trump saying that Jerome Powell was way too late. Powell, he absolutely agrees. Powell should have done it months and months and months, several months, started doing rate cuts earlier. He is wrong. He is late. Mohammed Al-Arian backs him up, and that was an Obama economist. So those are some of the things. Now, a few other quick things on Trump, and then we're going to get into Fort Worth City Council wants to give massive raises to themselves and to the mayor. And you got the Fort Worth Star-Telegram writing about that, saying that's awesome. Oh, I have so much to say about that. And Mesquite ISD is laying off tons of staff, cutting $24 million from the school budget, as well as South Lake Carroll ISD. Carroll ISD, I should say. They're cutting too, and we're going to get into that. I have a lot to say about that. But as far as some more polling, 61% of Americans from a Marist poll say the economy is not working well for them personally, notched up from 57% in May, so it's gone up 4 points in 7-8 months. 70% of Americans say the cost of living where they live is not affordable or not affordable at all. 35% say their finances have gotten worse in the past 12 months of Trump. You could say they're wrong, and they got it wrong, but they're not going to vote that way. We have to be honest. It goes on and on. Fort Worth. The Fort Worth Star-Telegram writing an editorial today saying that we should make city council members and we should make the mayor a full-time job and pay them that way so we can get better candidates. That is a big, fat lie. I will say it again and again and again. It is very common for city officials, not city officials that are like city managers and assistant city managers and stuff like police chiefs, stuff like that. It's not common. They work there full-time at the city, and that's rightfully so. But it is very common for people like the fake Republican Dallas Mayor Eric Johnson, who still practices law as an attorney, and yet is the mayor of Dallas, in a weak mayor system that doesn't pay very high. These city council members. Here's a few things. Is it mandatory for Fort Worth City Council members to be at all meetings? I don't know, but I'm going to bet you it's not. I'm going to bet you can blow off a quarter of them and get away with it, maybe even half of them, and yet they want to be paid full-time. Number two, almost every person in city government or on school boards or in city government in our municipalities throughout Dallas-Fort Worth, for example, in McKinney, or just make up any city, Plano, Pantego, whatever. The point I'm trying to make here, though, is that almost every one of these city council and mayors are part-time employees, and they're working full-time in a professional capacity. In fact, I would tell you, it enhances their ability to earn more money in the short term while they're in office and in the long term, and I don't have a problem with that. But what I do have a problem with is making this freaking welfare. There's like, well, this should be a full-time position. Do you want your city council member in Fort Worth to be a full-time position? Do you want it to turn like in frickin' Chicago, where I'm from, and I fill in all the time, and these people make like $150,000 as an alderman, and there's like 65 aldermen, or maybe even 165, I don't even know. And all they do is scream and yell and all this kind of stuff. You can put a lot of shoe leather in as a local politician, love what you do, and be great, and still have a full-time job. This is BS. We will not attract better candidates. That is a lie. It is a welfare project to make people more corrupt and to sit on their fat turfs and not do a lot of work anyways, and to be the nice, corrupt, fat piggies that they are when they do this kind of crap. No. Part-time job, show up. It's a pain in the arse, but you love what you do. You care about us, and it will enrich you anyways. It will. I mean, who's not going to want to have somebody that's a city council member, on their firm or whatever, working at their place? It's not going to do anything but help you. So I think it's great, and I don't. It's the lie in here is that you get a better candidate. I'm going to tell you this: the higher you pay, the worst candidates you're going to get, because you're going to get those welfare staters, the ones that want to have this as a professional job and sit there and do this for years and years and years and complain and B-word and moan, etc. Okay. 2016, Fort Worth would have had pay raise to $45,000 for a council member, $60,000 for the mayor. It was swatted down by the folks, which is right. 2022, the mayor would have gotten something else. The folks swatted that down too, the citizens. Mayor currently makes $29,000 a year. Each council member made $25,000. I think that's fan-frickin-tastic. And I mean that. Well, there's people who would do the job and would be great at it if you would just make it a full-time job. And you're not going to believe the pay the Star Telegram wishes they would. You're not going to get better, though. It's a false lie. They can't prove anything. They just say, you'll get better. Oh, I'll believe you. The median Tarrant County household income for a family of four. This is where the Fort Worth Star Telegram pulls a number out of their rump. Median Tarrant County household income for a family of four is $85,000. The 2022 proposal would have given the mayor $100,000 and city council members $77,000. To which I wrote welfare and professional dirtbags, because that's who will be coming in when you do that. A civilian worker. One option would be, look what city employees make. A civilian worker makes $66,000. Police officers and firefighters make $95,000. Something around, again, they pull a number out of their, excuse my language, ass. Oh, let's see here. $65,000 for city council member. $95,000 for the mayor. That'll get it. $65,000. If you want to pay somebody to be a top-flight city council member, it's going to cost a lot more than that, and you're going to get welfare people. No. Keep it the way it is. If you want to do a $5,000 raise every year or two, that's fine. Maybe it's $30,000 next year, and maybe every 2 years, $5,000, something like that. I don't care about that, but this is I've already made my views clear, but that's what that would be, is welfare. So they want $80,000 for the mayor and $65,000 for the city council member. Quote, that seems right. Who are you? I'm a jamoke that can type into a thing and have it published in a newspaper. Oh, I'm going to listen to you? You don't have to listen to me either. I'm a jamoke with a microphone. City council jobs have evolved to become full-time, though it wasn't the original intention. Elon Musk, Donald Trump, my friend Kelly, who's a professional production videographer and film guy. These guys work 60, 70, 80, 90, 80 hours a week. And working as a mayor or city council member 30 to 40 hours a week. Some weeks it'll be 60, some weeks it'll be 20. No. So that's, this is, so you take this Star Telegram column. There you go. Okay, next. Mesquite ISD. This is great. This is great news. I mentioned to you last night, one of my police officer buddies lives in Mesquite. $24 million they're going to cut from the Mesquite ISD budget. Why? They're hemorrhaging students. They have lost 10% of students since 2017. From 2017 to this year, they've gone from 41,000 to 37,000 students. They have lost 4,000, which is literally 4%, not 4%, 10% of their students. 10%, I can't add. They lost 4,000 students out of 40,000, so that's literally 10%. They have hemorrhaged. Now look, we are booming. I was telling my producer in Omaha today, great guy, Peyton, I was telling him about why we've boomed here in Dallas-Fort Worth. My explanation was really simple. We've added 1 million people in 10 years. We overtook San Francisco as the 4th largest market. They're now the 5th because they're hemorrhaging people because of all the garbage with San Francisco. We have gained 1 million in just Dallas-Fort Worth alone in 10 years. Why? We are low tax, low regulation, tons of room to grow, desirable, free, and low regulations for companies. So it's a perfect ingredients. We have gained 1 million people in Dallas-Fort Worth in 10 years. That's unbelievable for one city or metropolitan area to gain 1 million people. That's $100,000 a year at least. So why have we lost 10% of our students in Mesquite when we've been gaining over 1 million people? Because of St. George Floyd, blessed be his name, who famously took a loaded handgun and put it on the belly of a pregnant woman who went, and he said, "Give me your money." That's St. George Floyd, blessed be his name, who died from a drug overdose while in the custody of the Minneapolis police. St. George Floyd, blessed be his name, died. That's why we're hemorrhaging all these students, because we saw the woke bleep BS. One of our friends, she's black. Her daughter is black, obviously, and her son. And she was watching school during the COVID stuff shut down, and she could not believe what they were saying about St. George Floyd, blessed be his name, about black stuff and all this woke DEI stuff. And she was so disgusted. She went and said, "What are you teaching my child?" And she pulled her out and started homeschooling her right there. So it's not a racial issue. It's a disgusting DEI, transgender, all that, this poison. Second of all, we have started vouchers in Texas, and so that means we're making choices. And I'm going to tell you right now, we made tremendous sacrifices in my home. And I'm not complaining, I'm not playing a violin, but we didn't earn the kind of income that most people earned for 15 years because my wife stayed at home and homeschooled our kids. I also did half of the homeschooling for a couple of years while she worked part-time. But we sacrificed a lot, and that's okay. We're honored. And my son's graduating with a 4.0 grade point average, and he speaks fluent Japanese. I think we've done well. My daughter's going to go to one of our universities for her last 2 years, transferring from one of the local colleges here to a university next year. So Carroll ISD has lost also. But look at this. So Mesquite ISD lost, I told you, 4,000 students, 10% of the students. They're going to eliminate $24 million from the budget, 103 teaching positions, 67 teaching roles, 8 music teaching jobs, 6 art teaching positions, 33 physical education aides, 74 part-time lunch monitors, 42 bilingual aides, 34 kindergarten aides, 14 campus clerical staff. ESL teachers will be reduced by 15 positions. How about a lot more? With the illegals? But also it's striking Carroll ISD, South Lake Carroll ISD, but Carroll only. Carroll ISD enrollment decline of 855 students, losing $8 million in state funding, over 100 empty classrooms. So it's DEI, it's St. George Floyd, and it's the ability to educate our children. And let me tell you something. If you're considering it, you go, "I can't do this." Some parents realize that they just can't do it, and that's okay. But if you're worried about, like, how could I do this? I'm not, smart enough, or I haven't taught anything. You don't worry. There are curriculums you can get, and you can do it. And I'm telling you, I will recommend one for you if you DM me out. I'm not going to say it. They need to pay me as an endorsement. But if we can do it, you can do it. Now, this Target video is all over the place. It's been that way for 48 hours. A Chico, California elderly Target employee, the sweet woman, she's just putting, minding her own business, putting clothes on the rack, like little baby clothes, putting them on the rack, and she's wearing a red shirt for Target because that's what you have to wear, is a red shirt, and it's a Charlie Kirk shirt. But apparently they're allowed to wear that as long as it's red, like the Target red. You can do that. That's what she says, at least. And this woman, this vile, sick woman, goes up to her and starts saying horrible and sick and really sick things. Like she treats this sweet old lady who's just, and she's working at Target. You should have compassion or love for somebody that works in a position like that, and be grateful that she does that, because some of us don't get to do fun things like be on the radio or whatever. When I see my guys out there, when I see the guys, particularly when it's raining or when it's snowing or when it's cold, and I'm up in the morning getting ready to do a show, and I see our garbage guys coming by, and I don't know how they just break their backs like that over and over and over again, and they do it, and when I wave to them, they smile. I pray for them. And I pray, Lord, thank you for people that are able to do that and willing to do that. Keep them healthy, keep them safe, and keep them warm, and bless them. Thank you for them. And I mean that. And so that's what is just so angering, revolting, and just, whatever. So angry because this sick leftist woman goes up and takes this elderly woman, this sweet elderly woman, and takes her face like a dog and rubs it in the carpet like a dog when it craps on the carpet. Horrible dog parents, if you want to call them that, do things like that. Oh, you crapped in the carpet, rub your nose in it. She's doing that to this lady, and the lady's pretty much defenseless because she's working. Enough said. There's a big fundraiser for her. I'll tell you about that in a second. And there's also a response from the company publicly, and they had their CEO guy had a press conference. First, let's play this this audio from what happened. And by the way, I bleeped this out. I spent a lot of time, so I want a medal. I want a ribbon, trophy for bleeping this out so many times. She says F, 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 and then she calls this lady a piece of S.
Why?
They let you wear that shirt here?
Yes. Why? Why are you taking my picture?
Why are you wearing that shirt? You're working. It's not
It's a red shirt. I can wear any red shirt.
It's not a plain shirt.
It doesn't have to be
It's a Charlie Kirk shirt.
Yes. Yes, I know.
Are you f***ing stupid?
No.
Why the f*** would you wear that? You're at work at Target. That's not a Target shirt. It's not a plain red shirt. You support a racist.
It's not racist.
You support a racist.
He's not a racist.
Yes, he is.
No, he's not.
Yes, he f***ing is.
I'm sorry, but I'm not going to stand here and argue with you.
You're not. You should go get
it.
your manager. You should not be allowed to wear that at work. Unacceptable. Unfucking acceptable.
That's your opinion.
No, the opinion is he's a f***ing racist and you support him.
That's your opinion, ma'am.
And you shouldn't. You should not be allowed to wear that. This is going to be taken above your f***ing head. That's insane. Insane.
Have a nice day.
Insane. Piece of shit.
She called her a piece of shit. And you hear that loud, nice, beautiful Christmas music in the background. This woman, I'm not going to call the woman names. I'm going to call her behavior vile. She's dehumanizing this mother, most likely grandmother. It's just so sick. It's dehumanizing. It's like what Islamists and Marxist leftists who love Hamas and terrorists marching for Islamists and Hamas, how they dehumanize Jews. It's the same thing. Let me, first of all, there's a fundraiser, a GoFundMe fundraiser, and it has skyrocketed since I started looking at it yesterday and today. The goal went from $100,000 for grandma to have a nice vacation. It's going to go to a woman from Target named Jeannie Beeman. She's in Chico, California. Jeannie Beeman in Chico, California. That could be my mom working a part-time job. That could be your mom. That could be you. You see the picture of the woman next to her, and I retweeted this. You can see it on my Twitter feed at Chris Crock Show. That's at Chris Crock Show on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. She works in healthcare. It looks like she might be a nurse or something. And there's a picture that's made it on social media too of her, reportedly her husband and her daughter by somebody's SUV with bumper stickers on the back that say, Charlie Kirk was a hero or something like that. And the husband and daughter are going like with a gun, shoot in the neck. What kind of you can hate Charlie Kirk, you can think he's a racist, all that stuff that she said, But what kind of a person does that? If you're right, why would you need to do that, you know? So the first thing that came out from Enloe Health, which is where this woman works, they put out, "We are deeply concerned about the tenor of this post, and the response is creating from individuals of all political persuasions. The police department's investigating it. We're investigating it. We're currently extremely high call volumes related to this post are overwhelming. Enloe's switchboard and clinic phone lines negatively impacting our patients' ability to reach clinical staff." Well, maybe you shouldn't hire people that are horribly behave with disgusting behavior like this. Let's go to the CEO in some kind of a press conference he held today. This is great. They're still not saying if they fired her.
Enloe Health acknowledges that the off-hours behavior by a medical assistant employed in one of our outpatient clinics, as depicted in a recent social media post, was abhorrent and deeply concerning for our caregivers, our organization, and our community. The target employee who was verbally accosted in this post deserves significant credit for handling the situation in a calm and collected manner. We appreciate the many individuals who have seen this post and exercised restraint as they voice their personal views regarding...
It goes on and on. They won't say whether she's been terminated or not. This woman put this post online and thought it would be good. Cuckoo. So if you want to contribute, that's on my Twitter feed, at Chris Croxwell. Scroll down a little bit, you'll see it. They have raised $186,000 so far for her. And God bless that woman. Groundbreaking. Oh, wait, before I forget. Did you see President Trump has put up some new official plaques underneath the hall of the president's photos? Let's show you one of them. This is a former President Hussein Obama. And I'm going to read to you what it says because it's kind of small there. But I've taken the liberty to blow it up a little bit so that you can see it. And I will read it to you because it's well worth it. Hold on, let me scroll down to find where I retweeted it. This is so great. Where's the Hussein Obama plaque? No, I can't find it. All right, I'll just type it in real fast because it's great. You got it. Oh, no, I already saved it. Hold on. There it is. Okay. It says, I'm going to blow it up a little bit. Barack Hussein, this worth me reading. Barack Hussein Obama was the first black president, a community organizer, one-term senator from Illinois, and one of the most divisive political figures in American history. It's true. As president, he passed the highly ineffective Unaffordable Care Act, which is very true, resulting in his party losing control of both houses of Congress and the election of the largest House of Republican majority since 1946. He presided over a stagnant economy, it's very true, approved the terrible Iran nuclear deal, and signed the one-sided Paris Climate Accords, both of which were later terminated by President Donald J. Trump. Yeah, it's true. Under Obama, listen to this, the ISIS caliphate spread across the Middle East, Libya collapsed into chaos, and Russia invaded and took Crimea in Ukraine. He crippled small businesses with crushing regulation and environmental red tape, devastated American coal miners, weaponized the IRS and the federal bureaucracies against his political opponents. Obama, he actually should put Hussein Obama instead of Obama. Hussein Obama also spied on the 2016 presidential campaign of Donald J. Trump and presided over the creation... This is great! It's true, too! And presided over the creation of Russia hoax. I didn't read that part yet! Russia hoax! The worst, the worst political scandal... I love Trump! I'm going to keep reading. The worst political scandal in American history. His hand picks... I just love this guy. Sidebar, my new Trump watches. We were listening to that. My mom, so I'm home in Chicago. My parents are massive Trump fans. They voted for him every time. They have Trump gear and stuff. But my mom was like, I can't stand that. It's so tacky. I'm like, I love it. She's like, you do? I go, I love it because it's so tacky. I love it. And I love the way he says it. My new Trump watches. By the way, they're very expensive. They're not horribly, they're expensive. They're like, the cheapest one I think is like $700. The most expensive I think is like $2,500. So it's great, but I wouldn't buy one. I think it's so tacky, but I love it. That's why I love listening to the commercial. Watches. They're great. How about a new fragrance? It's the fragrance of winning. Okay, getting back to closing off with Hussein Obama. Russia hoax, the worst political scandal in American history. His hand-picked successor, Hillary Rodham Clinton, would then lose the presidency to Donald J. Trump. Yes! Woo! That's great. Isn't that great? Oh, he's got one about Reagan, and it mentions that Reagan was a fan of Trump. I love the guy. So it's amusing. It's so funny. I don't care. I love it. Okay. Gosh, aren't you glad that President Trump is the president? Can you imagine if we would have lost? Oh my gosh. And what's her name said she's going to run again, I think. That's Kathleen Kamala. That's awesome. Here we go. Groundbreaking. This is a great story right here from... let me just read a headline to you. Groundbreaking new study finds Islamophobia may be partially caused by Muslims killing people all the time. Groundbreaking new study finds Islamophobia may be partially caused by Muslims killing people all the time. From the Babylon Bee. I tweeted this out and I said, this is a very interesting study. So this is the headline in the Dallas Morning News tonight. Dallas Mavericks owner Miriam Adelson urges Trump to run for third term. First of all, Miriam Adelson owns a Las Vegas Sands Corporation. Her husband, the late Sheldon Adelson, massive Republican donors, both Jews, and she's a physician. And she's a billionaire, obviously. After her husband passed away, she runs the empire. Now, she owns the Mavs. She also wants to make casino gambling in Dallas, Dallas-Fort Worth, and Dallas with the Mavs. Hell no. You know my feelings on that. If you don't, I don't want gambling in my state. People complain, oh, we got to drive to Oklahoma, or we got to drive to Louisiana or New Mexico. No problem. We're losing money to them? No problem. Sell your soul to get some money that still won't fix any debt problems or any budget problems. Hard pass. I'm not going to sell my soul for my identity. Also, the Department of Justice did a study several years ago on crime and what it does when a casino comes up in the area. It clearly showed the effects of crime on the increases around casinos. People steal for their gambling habits. People do prostitution for their gambling habits. People have drug habits, all sorts of stuff. All the support gambling habits. So absolutely not. But I'm still a fan of hers. Just no casino, no way whatsoever, no matter what, and hard pass. But I like her. So she was up on the stage. This is all about Alan Dershowitz. Alan Dershowitz, as you may know, was one of Trump's attorneys in one of his cases over the many times the Democrats tried to put Trump in jail for BS stuff. By the way, Big Fanny is very mad. Big Fanny was yelling today and talking about the N-word and stuff like that because she continues to get destroyed and grilled by the Georgia Senate. I think that they might end up yanking her out as the DA. She's destroyed her own career. So that's going on today when she was screaming and talking about N-word and stuff like that because that's all she's got. What's his name? Trump's one-time attorney Alan Dershowitz just wrote a book, and it's called Could President Trump Constitutionally Serve a Third Term? He gave Trump a copy of it. Miriam Adelson got a copy of it. And so this was all yesterday at a White House event in the Oval Office. Dershowitz handed him the book. Trump says unclear. The Constitution unclear on the president serving a third term despite a two-term limit. He found it interesting as an electoral issue, Dershowitz says. This is in the Wall Street Journal. Is he going to run for a third term? No, I don't think he will run for a third term. Trump said it's pretty clear he can't run in October. But listen, my buddy, who's a liberal in Chicago, I have drinks with my buddies from Chicago once a year at least, and most of them are liberal. And he's like, if he runs for a third term, if he doesn't get out, and I could tell he was obviously knows it's not going to happen, but he was trying to, I'm like, we'll see. So here we go. All the crazies in the media are going to be acting out about this. So Miriam Adelson was on stage right after that, and she said, "Yes, Alan, I agree with you. So we can do it for Trump running a third term." She whispered something to Trump, and then she pledged to donate. Who announced that she something to Trump, and then he announced, I think, that she pledged to donate another $250 million if he runs. She said, "I will give." One of the best sellers on this online story is one of the best sellers in Trump's online stores is Trump 2028 hat. I want one of those. It's great. Anyways, so everybody's gonna be going all nuts about that. I don't think he's gonna do it, but there's one way. There was a Hofstra law professor who said there's one way that Trump could do this. One scenario, it's quasi-credible concern, is a scenario which two allies, perhaps J.D. Vance and Donald Trump or whomever, run with a plan not to serve. They resign upon taking office, and because the Speaker of the House is not required to be a member of Congress, Trump is elected Speaker with the aim of secession. So if the Vice President and President are out, and then the Speaker becomes the President, that is so awesome. This is great. Let's go. Trump 2028. Who's with me? McKinney. Have you heard of McKinney National Airport? It's already going. Right now, McKinney National Airport is a thing. It's real. It's operating. They are now considering that a new airline was authorized. They're going to start doing all their stuff. Future airlines will also be able to go in there with this organization that's running the McKinney National Airport. McKinney officials are considering a nearly $1 billion budget planned with millions set aside for the expansion of McKinney National Airport. I'm going to tell you right now, and the terminal will initially serve 200,000 passengers per year. Wow. With expanded gate capacity, which they will do. The airport will eventually be able to accommodate more than 1 million travelers annually. You know, Atlanta, Hartsfield-Jackson, where I used to work at the big talk station there. Atlanta, Hartsfield-Jackson, they say, we're the busiest airport in the world. Well, yeah, you have one airport. We have two and now two and a quarter airports. Chicago has Midway and O'Hare. New York has Newark, LaGuardia, and JFK. So, of course, you have the busiest airport in the world because you only have one. Piddly one. One. And Hartsfield-Jackson sucks. Sucks. Any one of us who has to go through that godforsaken airport knows it. I don't know if it's called the terminal or what it is, but each thing is a football field on each side. Football field here, over and over again. It's all football field here, here. It's in one long, it's like 10 football fields. It's a disgrace. Okay. Jasmine Crockett. Jazzy is attending some hip-hop concert in Oak Cliff. I'm definitely going on stage. This guy he's a nobody. I've never heard of him. She heard something he made on social media. She says, man, he's a genius. This is that rap you may have heard where it's like 30 seconds long or something. It's all about her and Marjorie Taylor Greene and stuff. And so she's like, I'm definitely going to be on stage. He invited her on stage when he's coming to town. Whoa, he's from here, I guess, Dallas-Fort Worth. I'm known to drop some bars from time to time, so just y'all have to be there and see. The tickets are $30. He's some rapper. Yeah. I have to call out this story. Everybody keeps getting excited. Oh, you can't see it. I got to pull it back. And it's Portillo's. Yet another Portillo's hot dogs, or my dad calls it Portillo's. No, he calls it Portillo's. Others call it Portillo's. It's Portillo's. Let me tell you something. There's like 8 of them now in DFW. This is Chicago original place. Portillo's is when I was in right out of high school, in my last semester of high school / in community college for 3 years. I was right next door to a Portillo's in suburban Chicago. And I'm going to tell you right now, my biggest fear, and they're opening everywhere except for where I'm at. This is so frustrating. The closest one's probably, by my guess, 15 minutes, which is a long way to go for fast food. You know what I don't see on their website? You need to hear this closely. What you get at Portillo's and DFW may not be. I don't know. I can't confirm this or deny this. I'm just speculating here. But what I saw on their website, you might not be getting a Vienna beef hot dog. And that is not a myth. That is not some stupid thing. There's only one Vienna beef hot dog. And any place that sells hot dogs in Chicago. And I'm real happy that a lot of my family lives in the city. so that we go by places all over the place in the city of Chicago, and these one-story little hot dog places, and it says Vienna beef on there. It's a big difference. You know what I don't see on Portillo's here at the locations? I don't see. I went on the website tonight, and I looked at the locations, and I clicked on the hot dog, and clicked on the hot dog. It's like, oh, Chicago-style hot dog. It doesn't say Vienna beef. I'm going to tell you right now, I could be wrong, and I'm not saying it's a fact, but my understanding from growing up there and eating Portillo's like all the time, it was so awesome when it came and it happened, it was so real, it's all Chicago, is that those ones were Vienna beef. These ones, the first thing it should say is Vienna beef. It could be that you can't get Vienna beef outside of the Chicagoland area. I mean, after all, there's about 8 million, 9 million people there. They don't have to get out of there if they don't want to. They could, they don't have to expand. They might not be able to. I don't know how it works. But if it ain't Vienna beef, it ain't Chicago. That's all I'm saying. I got to have it myself. I'm very suspect. Also, they took it public, which always screws over these things. Have you ever heard of a company going public and becoming massive when they're a local phenomenon and it goes well? Maybe it has. I can't recall anything that ever does, but what do I know? I will see you tomorrow. I'm going to try to shoot for the exact same time of 9 o'clock for tomorrow. I will have an eventual